You think you know police cars? Think again. Picture this. You're speeding down an open highway, thinking you're untouchable, when suddenly, in your rear-view mirror, you see a beastly V8-powered muscle car hunting you down, sirens wailing, lights flashing. And before you know it, boom! The long arm of the law is caught up and there's no escape. But here's the real kicker. These weren't your everyday police cruisers. The Australian police force didn't just rely on standard patrol cars. Instead, they unleashed some of the fastest, most powerful, and absolutely mind-blowing muscle cars to chase down criminals and speedsters alike. We're uncovering the shocking muscle cars that once prowled Australia's highways. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love vintage muscle cars and insane automotive history, you don't want to miss what's coming next on Revved Rides. Number 5. The Ford Falcon GT 1967 to 1971. The original highway hunter. First up, the legendary Ford Falcon GT. This wasn't just another cop car. This was a statement. A car so powerful that even criminals knew they stood no chance once it got behind them. Back in the late 60s, Australia's roads were becoming a playground for high-speed offenders, and regular police sedans just couldn't keep up. That's when the Victoria Police made a bold move and introduced the Falcon GT, a machine that would forever change the way law enforcement handled high-speed chases. Under the hood, the Falcon GT packed a 289 cubic inch V8, delivering a monstrous 225 horsepower. That may not sound like much by today's standards, but in the late 1960s, that was serious firepower. And let's talk about its looks. This wasn't just some plain patrol car. The Falcon GT sported bold racing stripes, a sleek aerodynamic body, and an aggressive front grille that screamed, "Do not mess with me." Criminals knew if they saw this beast in their rear-view mirror, they might as well pull over because outrunning it? Not happening. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to be a cop driving one of these? Imagine patrolling the streets in a roaring muscle car, chasing down reckless drivers with raw V8 power at your fingertips. The Falcon GT wasn't just a police car, it was a weapon of the law. Number 4. The Chrysler Valiant Charger, 1971 to 1978. The Street Warrior. If there was ever a muscle car built for the streets, it was the Chrysler Valiant Charger. And trust me, this one had some serious attitude. Introduced in the early 70s, this car wasn't just about looking good. It was about dominating the roads. The South Australia police knew they needed a car that could handle high-speed highway chases, and the Charger was the perfect fit. With a 265 Hemi straight-six engine that packed a serious punch, this machine could launch like a rocket, leaving criminals in the dust. But here's what made the Charger truly terrifying for lawbreakers. It had a perfect balance of power, agility, and raw acceleration. While other police cars struggled to keep up, the Charger sliced through traffic effortlessly, catching criminals off guard. And let's not forget that sound. When the Hemi engine roared, it was like a war cry, warning every speeder that their time was up. Some officers even admitted that the Charger was almost too powerful. Its brutal acceleration meant that even police drivers had to be careful not to overdo it in high-speed pursuits. But one thing was clear. When the Valiant Charger was on patrol, criminals had zero chance of getting away. Number 3. The Holden Kingswood SL 1977 to 1980. The heavy hitter. Next up, the Holden Kingswood SL. Now, this wasn't just any muscle car. It was a tank on wheels with a heart of pure V8 fury. The South Australian police needed a car that was fast, durable, and relentless. And that's exactly what they got with the Kingswood SL. Fitted with a 4.2-liter V8 engine, the Kingswood wasn't just about raw speed. It was about power and control. It came equipped with heavy-duty police-spec suspension, reinforced brakes, and a police-calibrated speedometer designed to keep track of speed demons on the run. Criminals thought they could outrun it. But the Kingswood's sheer stamina and reliability meant that it could keep up with chases for as long as it took to bring justice. Number 2. The Ford Falcon XB GT 1973 to 1976. The Mad Max machine. You probably know this one from Mad Max, but here's the crazy part. Before it became a movie legend, the Ford Falcon GT was an actual police pursuit car, equipped with a 351 cubic inch V8. This machine was built for speed. The moment police departments got their hands on it, high-speed criminals stood no chance. Its menacing design, aggressive stance, and roaring engine made it one of the most feared police cars of its time. And if you think it looked badass on screen, imagine seeing one of these closing in on you with sirens blaring and lights flashing. Trust me, outrunning the GT was a dream criminals never lived to see. But what made the GT truly legendary wasn't just its power, it was how it was used. Australian police forces deployed these beasts on the open highways, where reckless drivers thought they could push their luck. But the moment an GT was dispatched, the chase was as good as over. This car wasn't just fast, it was designed for endurance. While most criminals would push their vehicles past the limit, burning out their engines, the GT had the stamina and reliability to keep chasing and chasing until the suspect had no option but to surrender. The Ford Falcon GT wasn't just a police car. It was a statement, a symbol of power, dominance, and unrelenting force on the roads. If you ever saw one of these in your rear-view mirror back in the 70s, you had exactly two choices: pull over immediately or prepare for the most humiliating chase of your life. And trust me, no one ever won against the Mad Max machine. Number 1. The Holden Commodore VN SS, 1989 to 1991. The final boss. We arrive at the ultimate powerhouse, the Holden Commodore VN SS, a machine that wasn't just fast, it was engineered to be unstoppable. When the Australian police needed a final boss of pursuit vehicles in the late 1980s and early 1990s, this was their weapon of choice. With its 5.0-liter V8 engine, the Commodore VN SS packed an aggressive 165 kilowatts, 221 horsepower of pure muscle, making it one of the most powerful police cars of its time. But power alone wasn't what made the VN SS special. It was how it was built. This wasn't just a modified civilian car. This was a precision-tuned law enforcement machine designed to be faster, stronger, and deadlier than anything criminals had on the road. Police versions of the VN SS were fitted with high-performance suspension, upgraded heavy-duty brakes, reinforced differentials, and an enhanced exhaust system to give it that extra edge in high-speed chases. And let's talk about handling. Unlike some of the older police muscle cars that relied purely on brute force, the Commodore VN SS was nimble, sharp, and dangerously efficient at cornering, making it nearly impossible for street racers and getaway drivers to outmaneuver. And let's not forget the intimidation factor. Unlike the boxy, uninspired police sedans of today, the VN SS had a mean, aggressive stance that looked straight out of a muscle car show. The widened body, flared wheel arches, and low-slung profile gave it a street presence that demanded respect. It wasn't just a police car, it was a declaration that the Australian cops weren't playing games anymore. This was a machine built to dominate the roads and ensure that speed demons never had the upper hand. The Commodore VN SS wasn't just a car, it was an era. It represented the peak of Australian police muscle, the last of the truly brutal, high-performance V8 patrol cars before modern technology took over. If you saw one of these barreling down the road behind you, sirens blazing, lights flashing, you weren't just being pulled over. You were being hunted down by pure mechanical fury. And there you have it. And don't forget to subscribe to Revved Rides. We've got more insane car history coming your way.